This episode of Walt Disney World Today is sponsored by MEI and Mousefan Travel. MEI and Mousefan Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner, specializing in cruises and packages to Disney and other vacation destinations around the world. They provide signature service with no agency fees. Get a no-obligation quote at www.mousefantravel.com. This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, September 19th, 2007, and this is episode 311 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of MGMstudios.org. On the show today, we have Mike Scopa of MousePlanet.com and All Ears Net. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, a rhino, he apparently chased those guys up a tree. By the way, those gentlemen up in the tree are all members of the Hontus tribe, so I guess the rhino must be trying to Pocahontas.
Jungle Cruise.
Yeah.
Very nice. And always guessing Scopa's lines is Len Tessa, co-author of the unofficial guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
How's it going, Matt?
Outstanding. And also on the show today...
Think about that.
Think about it. Could be something else. Also on the show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
How's it going, Matt?
Outstanding as well, Mike.
You're supposed to say fabulous.
Fabulous. It's Wednesday. We're answering listener questions, and we'll get started today with an email from Jason, who writes, I won't bore you with praise. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Because of the Southern California school system, I'm limited to the following options. Leaving December 20th in the afternoon, returning December 25th at night, or leaving January 17th in the afternoon and returning January 21st at night. What do you think will be better, especially the week before Christmas? Basically, the week before Christmas or Martin Luther King weekend, considering that it is within 180 days we plan to stay at the beach club, not the villas.
So the question is, what time of year to leave?
Which trip
I didn't get it.
What week is better?
Which trip would be better in terms of crowds? December 20th through the 25th, or January 17th through January 21st?
Oh, January. It's not a...
Yeah. I think I'm with you on there, Scope. I think the January, right?
Yeah.
Well, the week before Christmas? So Christmas this year is on the... Well, it's on the 25th every year. Yeah, haha.
Yeah, it's because it's sleep year.
It's 4, 5s, and 6s. 4s, 5s, and 6s in December, but it's also probably more 4s during in January and MLK Day. So, I think it'll be slightly less crowded, especially towards the end of the week in January. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but I hear that Pirates and Princess is coming back for 2008 as well. Probably
it is. I have read that.
Yeah.
Well, just further proof that I think they just want to get their money's worth out of it, don't you think? Like, they've invested all this money in the party, and even though it sucks in terms of attendance.
I mean, or the break-even point must be so much lower than what we thought it would be.
Could be also the point line.
I mean, if it's $50 a ticket and they're selling, suppose they're selling 4,000 tickets, that's $200K. Does it cost $200K to run the park for 4 extra hours?
Plus, all the income they take in on drinks, food, merchandise.
Right. So yeah,
good point. Next email's from Richo of Elk Grove Village, Illinois, who writes, question, my wife is a kidney transplant recipient and cannot eat off a buffet per her doctor. This limits our dining choices. Do you think that places with buffets would make a plate of food from the kitchen for us so that we can eat at places like Chef Mickey's?
I am sure if you called them and told them, they would do it. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's got to be easier than handling even some of the more common food allergies like peanuts or whatnot. So, or garlic. I know people that are allergic to garlic and they have to, the chefs have to handle things differently, cutlery and whatnot. I don't think you'd have any problem at all, but definitely call ahead for those sit-down reservations. Especially even when you get to Walt Disney World, like when you're checking into your resort, call ahead again just to make sure and confirm. I don't think it'd be a problem at all.
Next email is from Jason McClellan of Avon, Connecticut, who writes, hi guys, I hope you get this email on time. My family and I are going to Walt Disney World in October of 2021 for the 50th anniversary. We're staying at Pop Century in the Scopa Years section. What do you think of the new additions to the parks? I'm really looking forward to seeing you must be this many Mangelos high to ride the attraction signs. I do have a few questions. Len, I just picked up my copy of the 2021 unofficial guide, ding, by Hannah and Len Testa. Whatever happened to Bob? And I saw that you give Stitch's Great Escape to Pooh's Playful Spot a negative 4-star review. Is it that bad? Matt at the Disney Pixar Muppet Studios is the rock and roller coaster featuring the Electric Mayhem a little faster than the old Aerosmith version. It seemed the older the band got the coaster, the slower it would go. And Newell, what do you think about the removal of all the bushes from Walt Disney World property, and how will this affect Mouse World Radio? And finally, Scopus, since you've been around since the beginning, what is the better invention, Dole Whip or fire? Seriously, love the show. Keep up the good work.
Indoor plumbing.
That was great.
Indoor plumbing.
Fire.
P.S. Here's hoping that Van Halen makes it through at least 5 shows.
I care if they make it through 1 because I'm going to the first one.
Next email's from Bob of Ottawa, Canada. Writes, hey guys, great podcast. Up there with Mangelos. Here's the question that it seems
that's like
you
saying
get all
you're
the
better
time.
in bed than Don Knotts. That's not really saying anything. It's really not. Sorry.
So here goes. I still need to ask this for myself. Try to stay with me, Len. Going in January of 2008, yes, 2008, for 10 days, and probably again in March 2008 to Daytona, with maybe a day or two at Disney. For the trip in January, we'll be staying on property, but not attending the parks all 10 days, maybe 6 or 7. For the January trip, there will also be 3 adults and 2 children, one 3.5 and the other under 3. The March trip will be 2 adults and the same 2 children. Question: what is the best way to deal with the tickets? Should I get 10-day hoppers with no expiration for everyone going on both trips, or annual passes for everyone, or just one annual pass to take advantage of the discounts?
It depends upon, number one, I'd like to know how many days he foresees him actually going into the parks. That's number one. And number two, if it's somewhere between 8 and 10,
it's gonna be somewhere in the ballpark of 7 to 8.
7 to 8 days.
7 to 9, depending. I mean,
are they going to more than one park per day?
Doesn't say.
Probably. Let's assume.
I'm assuming they are.
Yes, because he asked. I should say yes because he asked if he should get 10-day hoppers with no expiration or annual passes.
To Scopa's point, I would probably get one annual pass for the discounts.
Right.
Hold on. Is that one room?
Does not say.
How many adults?
Let's see
3?
here.
Yeah. Also, it would make a difference if it's more.
3 adults,
like
2 children.
3 adults, 2 children.
Go ahead, Mike.
You're not going to fit those all in one room.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Matt, if it was like 2. It sounds like it's 2 families or a family and a half, so maybe two annual passes, and the rest could be 10-day hoppers, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I would say. 10-day and with the
trying to see how much the 10-day would cost
with the no expression. So here's what I would do. I mean, even if they're staying at value resorts, I think based on the average discount, you still have a break-even point like at 8 or 9 days. So definitely go with the annual passes again, and I think there's 2 rooms involved there. So that's 2 adults. Then you only have to worry about 1 adult and 2 children. And I think for them, you just get the 10-day park hopper with no expiration. You can do that. The problem is that whenever you start buying the ticket again, like suppose you were to break it up into 2 different tickets, your first couple days on each ticket is the bulk of the cost, right? Like I think the first 4 days is the vast majority of any long ticket. Is the vast majority of what you're paying for, and even then, it's like the first 2 days are the most expensive in that. So that's where it runs.
Len, an adult 10-day Magic Your Way base ticket is $239. If you add the park hopper option, that's another $48.
Okay.
If you add the no expiration, are you ready? Are you sitting down?
Yeah, I know it's like 100. Go ahead.
$191.
100. How much? So how much is the 10-day no expiration with the park hopper?
The 10-day expiration says no expiration option. I'm looking on Mouse Savers, and it says if it's a 10-day ticket, it's $180 for that no expiration option.
So
with
how much is it? How much is the ticket total?
Oh man.
The other thing to keep in mind while Mike tries to figure that out is, if you're looking at this and you get the 10-day hopper. If it was me and I had the 10-day hopper, I think I would be less cavalier in terms of my touring habits, meaning if, let's say, you get there and you're in the Orlando area and it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you're on a 10-day hopper, I would say I'm not wasting one of my park days to go to the parks. If you have an annual pass, on the other hand, who cares? Go for a couple of hours. Why not, right? So that may be you may end up getting more because you're going, maybe you're going to the park for only a couple of hours on one day, which you certainly would not be doing with your 10-day hopper because that'd be such a waste. So you may have it would afford you more experiences in the given time, because the listener really didn't specify exactly how many days they're going to be there, so maybe their plans will change. So maybe another good reason to get the annual pass.
The other thing too is that if you've got an annual pass and you're staying off site, you still don't have to pay for parking.
This is amazing. This is amazing. An annual pass, first time annual pass is $477 as listed on. It's $477 as listed on Mouse Savers. But you ready for this? The 10-day hopper is $478. Yeah, so it's like a difference of $1. Except that with the AP, you get the discount. Yeah.
Yeah, get the annual pass then. All the adults get the annual pass.
Plus the Disney dining, Glenn, the Disney dining, and other things too. So
that's right. Well, you only need one of those per person.
Yeah. That's
of course, if you go discount for Maple Leaf tickets or from whatever, it's like in the $460 range. But still, I'd definitely go annual pass at that point. I didn't realize that the 10-day Magic Your Way Park Hopper No Expiration was so close to being an annual pass. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really. It's almost as if they want you to.
Yeah, to just convert to the annual pass.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Next email's from Mike Vincent of Fulton, New York. Writes, "Hey, Matt, Mike, and Len. My family and I are planning a trip to Disney World for the end of March in 2008, that is. So I figure that if I send this to you now, you should read it just about before we're ready to leave. Anyway, I have a question I'm wondering that you may be able to answer for me. I had a question about the crowds in the parks, and yes, Len, I did purchase the unofficial guide and read from cover to cover, but I thought I'd mention it one more time because it just doesn't seem to get plugged enough on the show. I know the crowd calendar says that Easter is the second busiest time, but we'll be there after Easter next year. The dates we are planning on arriving are the 23rd, which is Easter, and leaving on the 29th. So do you think that the crowds will be a little less crowded, considering that we'll be going in the parks the day after Easter for that week, or will they be just as busy?
Is it spring break
this year?
Yeah, it's spring break for most everyone. We have 10s the entire week during that week.
That's brutal.
Wow. Yeah. There's just no way around it. In fact, even the week before, I think the lowest is an 8 on the Wednesday. And then it's only going to start dropping down on the Saturday and Sunday, where it should get down to 9 again. But that's going to be one of the busiest weeks of the year.
Next email.
I think Scope is dragging a dead body around his office.
When I heard the 10s, it was like, whoa.
He fell down. He had to drag himself up off the floor. Anyway, good luck with that, Mike. Mike, definitely use the touring plans on your vacation, and obviously drop me a line if you have any questions.
While Scopa pops a nitro pill, let me move on to Jimmy, a.k.a. Cajun King from Marrero, Louisiana. Writes, "Hey guys, love the show. I was listening to a recent show about great bars to go at the resorts, and although I didn't think it was a great bar by any stretch of the imagination, I think it's worth mentioning that Scopa Towers is the only Valley resort that offers an indoor bar. I had a great time there watching the 2005 National Championship game. Since then, I have stayed at the All-Star Movies, and although I have no real complaints, Scopa Towers was a much better place to stay, in my opinion. And I'll be returning there in September 2007. Matt, you could say 08 if it helps your reputation. Thanks again. Keep up the great work. Scopa President in 2008.
Yeah, that's I forgot about that. What's the name of that? It's like something
concoctions. Classic concoctions or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Have you ever had a drink? Have you ever had a drink? Oh, jeez, come on. The next time we all slum it in Walt Disney World and we end up at Scopa Towers, the drinks are on
slumming it. You can send those emails to len@touringplans.com.
you know what I mean. You know how I roll.
Well,
Fabulous at touringplans.com.
Next email's from Monique, who writes, I have to say I'm sick of people complaining about the Haunted Mansion being closed. Quite frankly, people are whining because one attraction is closed for rehab. Just one. Put yourself in the shoes of someone who can't get down there during the summer. 5 or 6 items closed for rehab, restaurants closed for rehab, and reduced park hours.
That's right.
You read a letter from a woman on episode 275 about taking down a foster girl who dreamed of going to Walt Disney World, and she'll miss the Haunted Mansion. Well, what about the thousands of children in the same situation who go down during the off-season and miss multiple rides? What do you do to them? Tough luck. Your parents can't get off in the summertime. Maybe better luck in 5 to 10 years when those 5 rides will be open. I'm sorry for the rant, but those of you But those of you mad at Disney for this rehab closure need a little perspective.
Well, what if it's their only trip down there?
But you know what though? I mean, there's so many other good things. It's not like one ride is gonna make or break it.
It's always like that. I mean, it's depressing regardless of who you are, what your dreams are. When you go down there and an attraction that you enjoy is closed. I mean, but
they have to rehab things in order for it to be better the next time.
I agree, Mike. I think the big problem and the biggest complaint is the timing. One would think that summer would not be the time to do it. One would have thought that sometime between January and maybe the end of March would have been the time. It was take about 90 days or 100 days to do this. And I think that's the big complaint. I mean, I think people understand that there's obviously going to be a need to put new cobwebs and things like that and bats with eyes on the walls or whatever. But I think the question is the timing, and also the timing alongside with Spaceship Earth going down at the same time. I mean, those are very I would dare say that they're not quite headliner attractions, but they're pretty close. I mean, Haunted Mansion is a classic Disney attraction, and Spaceship Earth is the icon for Epcot. So I think it's the timing that bothers people mostly. I mean, I think they understand that it's refurbishing is a need, but that's what I think.
But I mean, we go down often enough where something is always being refurbished.
Right.
That's true.
It's either a restaurant, your favorite restaurant's down, or a ride is down. There's something always being done.
And that's the thing. I mean, what if they didn't do the refurbs, or what if they did them all at once? And it was.
Well, if they didn't refurb it and it kept breaking down,
space it out, yeah. Yeah, no one would be happy.
Yeah. Now, Spaceship Earth getting refurbished is a great thing because now they got a new sponsor. It's given it new life. I mean, something like that is fantastic.
I agree with you, Mike.
I completely agree. I think, and the interesting thing I was talking about this the other day is the way they're upgrading these things in place. I mean, it's not just a refurb for Spaceship Earth or for the Haunted Mansion. Those are pluses. They're plussing those.
That's true.
So,
that's the point.
Yeah. So I think that's again, you have to do it. So.
Next email's from Michelle Rhoda of Rochester, New York. Writes, "Hello, gentlemen. Great podcast. We'll be traveling to Walt Disney World soon and have a free Magical Express as part of our package. We are, however, using a town car service. Don't say rent the car. We go on vacation and do our best not to drive until we return to our jobs after vacation. And we're wondering if we could still use the luggage benefit of Magical Express. We won't need our luggage upon arrival and are very interested in ditching the bags and walking straight through security with our carry-on as we leave for our flight, which is at 7:40 a.m. Your thoughts are appreciated. Wondering if the unofficial guide has tried this." Correct me if I'm wrong, but you need to have a butt on the bus in order for them to pick up your luggage.
We had this question once before. I think you're right. There had to be a body with the luggage.
Someone has to go on the bus.
Yeah.
At the very least.
It was a security issue. You can't just put luggage on the bus without somebody being on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's it. They have to know. Well, but hold on now. If you're a guest at the resort, isn't that good enough?
Yeah, but you have to register with Magical Express, and they're expecting somebody to be on that bus. See what I'm saying?
But why?
That's how it works, I guess.
It's just like security at the airport. You want to make sure that there's someone who is associated with the luggage.
Okay, I can see that. You're right. Unfortunately, Scopa is right.
At least this time.
Next email's from Jordan from Tallahassee, Florida, who writes, "Last time we were at Disney, we ate with a group of 30 at Cinderella's Royal Table. I had heard all the bad reviews of this restaurant, but my family, the Believers, were not planning this trip. To our surprise, it was really good. Here's what you do to impress your non-believers. Book the last reservation of the night at Cinderella's Royal Table. You will be able to see the fireworks from inside the castle. It was amazing. You can also hang out and take pictures on an empty Main Street. Pretty cool."
Ooh, send that in as a tip, Jordan, to the unofficial guide. I'll be happy to put that in the book.
Ding.
That's a great idea. Ding.
What's the web address? I'll take credit for that.
Len Torrington.
I'm kidding.
Oh yeah. An audio engineer from upstate New York or from New York. That's right. Yes, move your mic away from your head.
Next email's from Sean Neva, who writes, "Hey guys, this is Sean from Dallas again. I forgot to ask you something. This may be a question for Len. We're going down September 15th and staying through the 23rd in Coronado Springs Resort. And I was curious. I know before Len told us which rooms were the closest to the food court. Well, since my wife will be 6.5 months pregnant, I'm trying to cut as close as the first and the main entrance as possible to cut down on walking. here's the deal. When I called to book my trip, I told Disney which rooms I would like to have if they're open, and said that they would see what they could do. Do I need to call again and set something up, or will they handle it? I thought of one of you guys had said something to the effect of calling a week or so ahead to try to request rooms if you were interested in a particular area. Am I wrong, or is there some sort of time frame I need to do this in? Thanks again for always getting back with me. P.S. More of you guys need to go on Lou's show and vice versa. The bantering back and forth is to die for.
Who?
Exactly.
That should be a new thing. Everyone, people write in and mention Lou. It's like, who? Mangello. No.
Never heard of
her
it.
Name doesn't. In terms of Coronado Springs, Cabanas 9B is the closest, as well as Casitas 1 are the two closest to the lobby, the restaurant shops, and the convention center. In terms of... Good.
I was going to say, in terms of the second part of his question, were those all the rooms, Len? Or did you have other room recommendations?
I stayed in 8A, which is the Cabanas 8A, which is near the pool and the bus stop. Now, it was a little bit longer walk to the convention center, or to the Pepper Market and El Centro, the lobby. But it wasn't terrible. I'm thinking if I wasn't 6.5 months pregnant either. So no, I'd go with 9B, Cabanas 9B or Casitas 1.
And requesting rooms, Sean, the way it works is you call 5 days or earlier to your 5 days or up to your check-in, and you request a room. They're going to tell you we're not going to say, oh yeah, no problem, we'll get you those rooms. They're going to say we're going to do the best job we can to honor your request, blah 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 blah. 9 out of 10 times they do a decent job of putting you in something that you requested. And again, if you put down this building, or this room, it works out pretty well. The other thing I'll say is that in my experience, it's this is a great example of a travel agent who can you can give them what I usually do with my travel agent is I take exactly what Len said, this building or this building or this building or this building, and I give them to the travel agent and say, put me in one of these and let them deal with it, and then they'll do the footwork for you. So
I have heard if you now lately though, if you call more than a day or so in advance, if you call the resort directly, they'll put you back through to Central Reservations, and Central Reservations will tell you, yeah, I've already got this in my thing. You don't need to keep calling. And I don't know if that's just for certain resorts, because again, I've done it in the Grand Floridian in the recent past, and it wasn't a problem. Yeah, I don't know.
Next email is from Gina from Winooski, Vermont, who writes, my husband and I are going to Walt Disney World to celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary. Trying to figure out some romantic touches to add to the trip. Any tips or ideas? 2 points for getting that one first. Any tips or ideas that you could offer would be greatly appreciated. What do you recommend for a romantic trip? Have you done romantic things or added romantic touches to your trip? We're staying at the Wilderness Lodge. A first for us will be dining at Artist Point for dinner on our anniversary, and yes, we are on the dining plan. Romantic stuff. Well,
I wouldn't let my wife sleep in till 7 o'clock. That's romantic, right?
So romantic things to do in the parks or in the resorts. I think Gene's off to a good start with the romantic dining reservation. Artist Point is a great place.
It is. So let me step in here. How about a his and hers massage over at Saratoga Springs or the Grand Floridian?
It's good.
Nothing sounds like fabulous. Nothing like a little bit of pampering.
Nothing like a $400 bill.
Yeah, but how is that romantic? How is that romantic? Unless you're giving the massage to your significant other.
No, it is. I've done them before. It is. It relaxes both of you, and it's something.
You relax, and what's more romantic than relax? Relaxation.
This is a Disney podcast. I'm not allowed to say anything.
Next email is from John Manasco of Huron, Ohio, who writes, "Hey there, guys. Great podcast. Work for a major cable company as a technician, and your podcast is perfect to listen to while traveling between jobs. Keep up the good work. Wanted to email you, not so much with a question, more so as a show idea request. I've heard you mention at times Disney rumors, so to speak, like the Talk of a Fifth Theme Park or Monorail Extension and so forth. Would be an interesting show for the group of you to go over some of these ideas. Kind of take your own in-depth ideas and run with them and share the known info about them and share it with your listeners. Well, I'll keep this short and just thought I'd offer this fun and informative show for the group of you and all your listeners. Take care, guys. P.S. Len, Go Browns. Pittsburgh sucks.
Go Browns. Yeah, talk some more smack after you win a game. Actually, they beat Cincinnati, so that's good. They beat Cincinnati this week, so very good.
Next email is from Brian from Fruitdale, Alabama, who writes, I'm planning a trip for June 2008. What is the benefits of using a travel agent? I do enjoy planning my trips, making the calls, doing the dining reservations. Do they have, or do they know about discounts that I can't find on all Internet or Mouse Savers? Thanks, guys.
It's not that they don't know about it, but they usually know that when they're coming out, and maybe even they'll know a few days more in advance than most people. And as soon as those discounts are available, they'll start taking care of their best customers. So, I mean, if you've been with the same travel agent for years and years and years, and you're a steady customer, that's how I'm sure those are the people who the travel agent tries to take care of first. That's how I'm thinking it's going to work. That's the big benefit. And then, so you can go out and do your daily job and not have to stay on the phone with Disney for 12 hours a day trying to get your discount. Let somebody else do it.
Yeah, I think that travel agents, or as we call them, vacation planners, have that. They've built a relationship with the cast members who they talk to when they call up and book rooms, and I think that's the relationship that none of us can ever, really establish. So I think that bodes well for us as their clients, because they can get more for us, and not get more for us, but try to match what we want, like a certain room at a certain resort. So I think that relationship is there that we should take advantage of.
Great point. Next email is from EJ from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, who writes, how are you, Matt, Len, and Newell? No need to ask about how Scope is doing. Anybody at his age that even gets out of bed in the morning is doing fine.
Yeah, really.
We're going down to Disney World soon. My wife will be having her hands full with 3 children, ages 2, 5, and 35, all boys. What would you recommend as something she can do at the resorts to unwind? If we were to pawn the children off to my brother and his wife for an evening, where would you recommend the wife and I dine? Thanks for all of your help in producing a super casual-fatalistic expialidocious podcast. P.S. Biz Lenny. Oh, baby. You got what I need.
Oh, no.
You got what I need. I heard that the other day and I was laughing. Because you said you just a friend.
Anyway. Things for the wife to do and the husband to do and to unwind from a break from the kids. What would
okay, well, I definitely like the spa idea. In terms of a romantic dinner, Shula's is good but pricey. There's a corner booth in the studios, the Brown Derby. Mm-hmm. You could do Chico, nice quiet booth at Chico is also good. Where else?
Le Cellier. There are certain. There are not that many.
Hey, you heard new menu at Le Cellier went into effect today, right? They dropped, I think, one of the plays, and no one called you on that, right? And they've added some more vegetarian and pasta dishes.
Why wasn't I called?
I don't know why you were consulted on this one. I don't know. I think there's something wrong there.
Well, I liked your idea for Jico, kind of doing, and I'll expand on that. You do a night at Animal Kingdom Lodge where you start out with dinner at Jico, and then you go to the Ball's bar, and maybe then later on in the night vision goggle activity over there at the resort. Kind of give yourselves a nice little night alone at the resort to do all these different things without the pressure of the kids being involved with it. You know what I mean?
I'd actually start at the bar though. I wouldn't end at the bar.
That's a good point. Also, you could do that. Next email's from Laura, who writes, "Hi guys, this question is for Len. My husband and I are planning our first trip to Walt Disney World the end of January, beginning in February 2008, with my parents and 4 small children, ages 1, 3, 6, and 9. We would like to make sure that we can eat fairly early in the evening, around 5 p.m., so we're planning on making our advanced dining reservations 6 months in advance. Using TouringPlans.com, we have chosen a week with crowd predictions of all 4s and 5s. If the crowd blogs in the for members only section is such a low crowd level for the entire week, is it important to follow the attend avoid a certain park suggestions as it would be during the peak time of the year? We try to coordinate our dining reservations with which parks we're going to be attending for the day, so we don't have to hop from park to park at supper time and waste touring time. But I don't necessarily want to go to the parks that are listed as preferable for that day.
No, I mean, as long as you've got a touring plan, even if it's a 4-day, I mean, if you have a touring plan and you follow it for the first few steps, like, for example, Dumbo, if you've got kids, that's really going to be the key. thing for those days. You don't have to follow the touring plan religiously. You don't have to follow the best and worst days religiously. If you are staying at a Disney resort, though, the thing I would avoid is extra magic hours mornings. If you're not gonna attend them.
Great point.
Yeah, but if you're going, so typically we don't recommend the park with the morning extra magic hours. But if you're gonna take advantage of the morning extra magic hours, and that's what you mean by not following the recommendations, by all means go do that. I don't think it makes much sense with the Animal Kingdom, but at the Magic Kingdom, Epcot, maybe the studios, it's not a bad idea.
Great. Well,
cool.
That's it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit the Walt Disney World Today webpage at www.wdwtoday.com. You can also email us your questions at questions@wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
This episode of Walt Disney World Today is sponsored by MEI and MouseFan Travel. MEI and MouseFan Travel is an authorized Disney vacation planner, specializing in cruises and packages to Disney and other vacation destinations around the world. They provide signature service with no agency fees. Get a no-obligation quote at www.mousefantravel.com.